We deserve better. Madison deserves better.
Tonight at 5, why workers at a Madison hotel have decided to hit the picket lines.
And more efforts to tackle Madison's housing crisis, the new types of homes you could see in the city's near future.
Plus, Morgan Geyser is out of jail. What we know tonight about her whereabouts and how the Department of Corrections is handling the case.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for staying with us at 5 on this Wednesday.
We have a lot to get to today, but first, breaking news at the White House, where President Donald Trump says the United States is taking control of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. The president did not offer any immediate explanation for the move, but this is likely to further escalate tensions with the South American nation. We'll continue to cover this national story throughout our newscasts tonight.
And now for a look at your first warn forecast after last night's system moved through. What's next? Here's Alex Harrington in the studio.
Yeah, it's a great way to segue. All right, we've had the big winter storm. We had yesterday's potpourri of all different types of weather types. And then now what's next is the dangerous cold, which we started letting you know way early in the week was on its way for this upcoming weekend. Saturday and Sunday, wind chills could get as cold as -30, if not colder than -30 in southern Wisconsin. Those temperatures right now have taken a tumble. We got into the low 30s early this morning. Now we're down to 26 in Madison, tied at 28 Boscobel and Lone Rock, 25 in the Dells, and 28 in Janesville. So anything that's wet that was wet today, that's going to freeze. Tonight we'll get down into the single digits, provided we can get the skies to clear out a bit, and I think we will for a little while. Otherwise, we'll be in the lower teens. Highs tomorrow around 20. A little light snow developing in southwest Wisconsin. That's also something that's part of what is next after tonight's cold. A little snow for some tomorrow before that bitter cold. When I come back in a few minutes, I'll let you know if you're going to get that snow tomorrow. Susan?
All right, Alex, thank you. Now to a developing story. Madison police tell us that someone was shot earlier today near Lane Road on the city's east side. News 3 Now sent a crew to the area, but police were gone. They tell us there is no danger to the public. We'll continue to follow this story on air and online at channel3000.com.
Slenderman attacker Morgan Geyser is no longer in the Waukesha County Jail. Officials with the jail confirm Geyser's no longer in their custody as of this morning. And right now, officials can't tell us where she is. But online court records show a judge signed an order to transport Geyser on Monday. It comes a week after her lawyer asked that she be returned to a mental health care facility. Last month, Geyser escaped her Madison group home. She was there on conditional release after nearly stabbing her classmate to death to appease the fictional character back in 2012. Now, Dane County law enforcement wasn't notified that Geyser had cut off her GPS bracelet and left her group home until hours after the Department of Corrections knew. The DOC investigating the timeline of events that night. In a letter to 2 Wisconsin lawmakers, the DOC said 3 of its employees are now on leave pending that investigation, as is the standard. Later on News 3 Now at 6, we'll tell you the changes the department made to its standards since Geyser's escape.
Well, during last night's meeting, Madison's Common Council passed a resolution to increase housing choices in the city.
And 2 of those changes are allowing 3 to 4 unit buildings in residential areas with transit-oriented development overlay, as well as the ability to create cottage courts in most residential districts. Our Nash Dara shares the story.
That's right, Eric. The major takeaway from last night's Common Council was the addition of cottage courts, which allow for a collection of up to 8 homes that can all be on a single zoning lot, as long as they all surround a center courtyard or shared space.
I am stoked.
That is how Alder Dina Nina Martinez Rutherford felt after last night's approval for cottage courts in Madison.
It's to provide more housing options. People want housing choice. They want to be able to make a decision about housing that kind of meets their needs. And right now we've got a lot of market rate and a lot of higher priced home ownership options. This is hopefully to meet some of the missing middle housing that is so desperately needed, and I think there's a reason it's called missing middle, because there's not a whole lot of it.
The high pricing market for homes in Madison is partially due to the few homes that there are. So the addition of these houses on transit-oriented development overlay, along with smaller cottage court homes, will help with increased housing and decreased pricing in the future.
The more housing that is available, the more affordable prices we'll likely see on the market. We're seeing such high housing prices right now because there's so few homes available. So the more homes that we can help facilitate being built, the more homes that'll hit the market, and that'll help bring prices down to levels that maybe more people can afford.
Alder Martinez Rutherford was a major voice in getting cottage courts approved, and now that it has come to fruition, she is looking forward to seeing it in the community.
I kind of started with it when I began office in 23. This was an idea and a model that I've seen work in other communities throughout the country. People were concerned about how it would impact everything, but we've seen it work in other markets and other cities, and I think it's just a wonderful option for people to be able to take advantage of.
Alder Martinez Rutherford also proposed for cottage courts to allow single-family detached homes, duplexes, and twin homes as long as the total number of houses does not exceed more than 8 units.
All right, Nash, thank you. A woman seriously hurt after a car hit her in Baraboo. This happened yesterday about 8:16 p.m. Police responded to the crash. This is in the area of Highway 136 across from the Menards Super Center there. First responders say the 33-year-old pedestrian does have severe injuries and is now in a Madison area hospital.
Well, the Madison Metro Transit System is facing a multi-million-dollar shortfall that will need to be covered by taxpayer dollars.
On News 3 Now's Jalen Banks joins us now with a breakdown of this deficit. And Jalen, what did you find out here?
Eric and Susan, Metro Transit will need nearly $6 million from the city's budget surplus to cover its shortfall. Initial planned spending for Metro Transit in 2025 was $18.4 million. However, due to fare revenue failing to meet expectations and an increase in salaries and benefits after a new contract was reached with the union representing the drivers and operational costs, Metro is now facing a $5,750,000 shortfall, and that will take up over half of the city's $10.5 million revenue projection for the year. Earlier, I spoke with Metro Transit's GM, Jamie Acton, who took over as GM back in October. Now the city and Metro plan on addressing the shortfall moving forward. Here's what she had to say.
Effective just on Monday, I put in a non-essential spending freeze. So essentially, non-essential spending is, anything that isn't related to safety, security, keeping the buses in a well-maintained condition, really kind of honing in on those expenses.
A mid-year resolution increased the Metro 2025 subsidy by $1.4 million. And the year-end resolution will increase the subsidy by an additional $5.7 million, bringing the Metro Transit year-end subsidy to $25.6 million. Tonight at 6, we'll hear more from Acton on how Metro plans to address all of this moving forward.
All right, Jalen Banks reporting. Jalen, thank you. And more local news. Workers at Hilton Madison Monona Terrace are picketing for their first union contract since joining Unite here, Local 1, back in August. Employees say they struggle to afford basic necessities like health insurance. A third of Hilton Madison workers reported they either don't have any health insurance or they're on Medicaid. A single mother who's worked for the hotel for more than 3 years was on the picket line today and says she doesn't qualify for Medicaid and that the company's health insurance is simply too expensive.
I'm constantly concerned because I know that women my age need to have regular mammogram screenings. I'm always thinking about what might happen to me because I can't afford one.
So News 3 Now has reached out to Marcus Corporation, which owns and operates the Hilton Madison Monona Terrace, about workers' claims, but we have yet to receive a response.
Well, months after we were set to receive them, Wisconsin's September unemployment numbers are out, and it shows the labor force continues to shrink as Wisconsin loses more baby boomers. In Wisconsin, the number of employed people decreased more than 10,000 in a month. Over the year, that decrease was nearly 52,000. Despite the drops, the Badger State's rate of employment remained higher than the national rate, and we should note that this data is coming late because of the federal government shutdown.
We're trying to sort of piece together the puzzle of what's happening and what's about to happen. It's trickier than usual because we're missing some pretty big pieces of the puzzle.
The DWD said the October state employment data will not be released.
At the Capitol, a Republican introduced bill could punish universities for violating free speech.
Our Elie La Liberté breaks down how the legislation would work and why some argue it is legislative overreach.
This bill would require any UW system school or technical college to pause tuition increases for 2 years if it violates free speech rules more than once. But the question of if it would truly protect free speech is up for debate.
But I really do feel like this is, once again, a political gotcha bill.
Debate at the center of speech.
We are protecting and respecting students and professors' free speech rights.
This Republican-introduced bill states that universities and colleges cannot restrict free speech if the speaker is lawful or restrict the time, place, or manner of speech on campus. The school also cannot create a, quote, free speech zone and limit that speech to that area. But much of that regulation is already in UW policy.
Codifying regional policy into law. If the UW can't get behind their own policy, it just says that just goes to show what they really think about free speech.
Opponents of the bill argue it's legislative overreach and largely protects more conservative speakers.
I feel like this is just a very punitive bill that really isn't looking at free speech for everybody. It's looking at free speech for some.
While supporters argue it's necessary.
The bill will cause the universities to just be more vigilant about how they handle these situations.
The bill narrowly passed the Senate back in November, but will need to make it through the Assembly before it could head to the governor's desk. Reporting at the state capitol, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. In October, the Universities of Wisconsin system sent a statement to the legislature regarding the financial impact of freezing tuition, saying, quote, reducing a university's funding allocation would jeopardize not only the success of UW universities, but more importantly, the educational experience the UWs deliver for students.
Still ahead at 5, another Clipper-like system will affect areas near Madison this week. Alex tells us when to expect it in his first word forecast.
And now in first place in the NFC North, our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde reports from Lambeau Field next on the road to the playoffs for the green and gold.
And why doctors say it is especially important for you to be mindful of your heart health this time of the year, even if you've never had heart issues.
On Wall Street today, the Dow closed the day with a 497-point gain. The Nasdaq adds 78, and the S&P 500 is up 46. Stay with News 3 Now at 5. We'll be right back.
After that big win over the Bears Sunday, the Packers have positioned themselves atop the NFC North.
So with 4 games left, what does the road to the playoffs look like? News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has more from Green Bay.
As late season schedules go, the Packers have themselves a quirky one. They beat their arch rival, the Chicago Bears, here at Lambeau Field last Sunday. Now they go out of the division, out of the conference, and out of their comfort zone of the friendly confines of Lambeau, out to Denver to face the Broncos with the best record in all the NFL at 11-2. And then, on a slightly shortened week, they face the Bears again in Chicago on Saturday, December 20th. Matt LaFleur knows that this is unusual. He also knows there's nothing he can do about it other than find ways to extend this winning streak. 4 games now, and they hope 5 by the time they're done in the Mile High City.
Yeah, I mean, what a great challenge. You know, what a great challenge, but also I think there's there's great opportunity that goes with that. So it is what it is. We knew going into this year, like if just looking at it, and there's always going to be surprises each and every year, but I would say just our division alone, you knew it was going to be a grind, and you got to find a way to get through it, and hopefully, you know, just continue to focus on the process and getting a little bit better each and every day, and just try to hone in at one game at a time.
You can, of course, watch Packers-Broncos right here on Channel 3 on Sunday, a 3:25 kickoff. And you can get ready for the game with our coverage on channel3000.com. While you're there, you can sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. And don't forget, you can watch the Packers take on the Broncos right here on WISC TV. 60 degrees expected in Denver at kickoff. The kickoff is 3:25 on Sunday.
And Alex, that's a far cry from what's coming our way this weekend. Folks will be just watching on Channel 3 and huddling at home under the blankets.
I did the math. It's 60 in Denver. We're going to be minus 10 for low temperatures over the weekend. That's a 70-degree difference, 70 degrees colder in Wisconsin. You add the wind chill in there, it's going to feel 90 degrees colder in Wisconsin. Isn't that incredible when you put those two into perspective? Part of the 3 things, cold tonight, little light snow on Thursday, then the bitter cold stuff as we head into the weekend. That's really the focus here of the forecast. Dangerously cold temperatures to 30 below zero all of southern Wisconsin Saturday morning and Sunday morning. We were first to let you know about this days and days ago. Get ready. It's still on the way to southern Wisconsin. Let's break this down here. We have wind chills between minus 28 to minus 33 on Saturday morning. So bitterly cold temperatures to start off the weekend. Look at Sunday morning. Below 30 below, if not colder, 30 to 35 below across all of southern Wisconsin. We start off the next work week also on the bitterly cold side as well. Temperatures waking up to between minus 10 to minus 20 below on Monday morning. So 3 mornings of bitterly cold temperatures. Our temperatures out there right now, they're below our normal high temperature by about 10 degrees. I can't do 10 because I got a clicker in my hand, but 26 in Madison, 28 in Lone Rock, 28 in Bosqueville, 25 in the Dells. Again, this is what you see at the end of January, not the early to mid part of December. Lows tonight will do 9 in Madison. Could stay in the lower teens where the clouds hang on a little bit longer tonight. As we go into Thursday, temperatures up around 20 degrees, and this is once again about 15 degrees below normal. Little light snow over parts of southwest Wisconsin. We're going to break that down. That's our next best chance for a little bit of light snow across southern Wisconsin Thursday night here. The rest of the next 7 days, low chances for snow across southern Wisconsin. Let's use Future Track to show you where is this little clipper-like system going to go. It's going to try to make it into far southwest Wisconsin, maybe getting as far northeast as Madison. Better chances, Boscobel, Prairie du Chien, Mineral Point, Darlington, Platteville, the Dickeyville area, Fenimore. Might see a little bit of snowflakes as we go Thursday afternoon to Thursday night, then that's out of here. Could see another little bit of light snow moving in as we head into Saturday, but we're not looking at big totals. Dusting, maybe half-inch near Madison, perhaps a half-inch to an inch in Mineral Point, and then you get down towards Platteville and then into Iowa. That's where the better chances for maybe 2 or 3 inches of that fluffy snow across parts of Iowa. But stay tuned to the News 3 Now First One weather team. Those clipper systems can move, and that could change the path of the heavier amounts of snow. After our little snow Thursday night going into Friday, perhaps a couple snowflakes on Saturday. But look behind me here, the alert day cold conditions Friday or Saturday and Sunday, 5 for highs, near 10 below for lows. But the good stuff is behind me here. By the time we get to the mid part of next week, our temperatures finally getting up to normal. I haven't said the word normal in a really long time in my forecast here. And if you want a winter picture, Jan sends us this picture from Madison here, all frozen in. We had all the snow, and then we had that mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow last night. If you want to send your weather picture, scan that QR code now in the upper left. I'd love to see you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Thank you, Alex. Well, we're getting close to the end of year travel rush, and AAA is predicting it's going to be another record-breaking year. More than 122 million Americans will go somewhere during the holiday travel period. It begins in 10 days. The number of flyers is expected to jump despite average round-trip airline tickets being pricier this time of the year. Most Americans will drive. AAA expects the weekend before Christmas to be among the busiest travel days of the year.
The American Heart Association says research shows more people die from heart attacks at the end of December than at any other time of the year. And experts say you don't have to have a heart problem to be at risk, because this time of the year, many are doing things they typically don't do. And doctors recommend you be mindful of your alcohol intake as well as how much salty and rich foods you eat.
Still ahead tonight at 5, we'll put the president's claims about the economy up against the facts. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
For a third time in a row, the Fed has lowered interest rates, the central bank dropping its benchmark lending rate by a quarter point, now at a range between 3.5% to 3.75%. The cut comes over objections from some Fed officials who believe the focus should be on the high cost of living. Today was the last Fed meeting before Chairman Jerome Powell's successor is named.
With next year's midterms less than a year away now, the president is hitting the road to talk about the economy. Yesterday, the president traveled to Pennsylvania to defend his administration's economic agenda. Government data shows inflation had been falling at the beginning of the year, but began slowly rising again this spring. That's when the president announced his widespread tariffs. But speaking before a crowd yesterday, the president blamed Democrats for inflation.
Prices are coming down very substantially, but they have a new word. You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability.
Donald Trump and Republicans have done nothing to lower the high cost of living. Housing costs, out of control. Electricity costs, out of control. Child care costs, out of control.
Democratic leaders in Congress are also warning of rising health care premiums as the ACA tax credits are set to expire at the end of the year. The Senate will vote on dueling proposals to address the issue tomorrow.
And in an update on the Jeffrey Epstein files, a federal judge approved unsealing documents from his 2019 sex trafficking case. This reverses the judge's previous decision to keep the material under wraps. The judge cited a new law requiring the government to open its files on Epstein and his longtime confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell. We're back with a final check of your First One forecast when we come back. At 6, Wisconsinites working together. We'll tell you what's in a bipartisan farming bill that Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin introduced alongside Republican Representative Derek Van Orden. That story and much more. Join us at the top of the hour.
Well, yoga and dog lovers, a local animal shelter is hosting a fundraiser this weekend that's just for you. Shelter from the Storm Animal Rescue will host 2 beginner-friendly yoga sessions on Saturday with puppies, yoga with puppies, and they're all adoptable. The nonprofit specializes in rescuing animals with medical or behavioral needs, and every ticket helps the nonprofit take in more animals. You can find a link to sign up on channel3000.com.
Lots of downward dogs going on there.
Yeah,
Let's go to Alex. Final check of the forecast.
Yeah, the real cold stuff is on the way. After a little bit of light snow tomorrow, get ready for dangerously cold weather this weekend. I encourage you, if you don't need to be outside this weekend, just don't. Hunker down. We have wind chills to -30 both Saturday morning and Sunday morning. But the good news, it's short-lived. Normal temperatures next week.
Well, that's going to feel like 70.
Summer.
It's going to be great. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for watching at 5, everybody. The CBS Evening News is coming up next.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Thanks for watching.